He went in search of the truth and meaning of life, and we all know that prince became Mahatma Buddha. He sacrificed everything and went in search of knowledge, the supreme knowledge. And one who does it or embraces such life, ready to accept any challenge and hardship, for not any selfish reason, for the emancipation of the people, for the upliftment of the ordinary folks, for the establishment of dharma, to attain the independence of a nation. When people sacrifice, they are respected. If Siddhartha were to be continued as a prince and died as a prince, who would have remembered him today? There are thousands and thousands of kings and princes in this country. But those who accept the challenges of the time, who organize the people, who are ready to take the leadership standing in the front, and who are ready to renounce everything. They are Netaji, as you all know, was a bright student. He appeared for the examination in the ICS, and in those days, Indian Civil Service examination मैं इसका बदला दूंगा। मैं मेरे जीवन में इस ब्रिटिश साम्राज्य को, द एम्पायर दैट नेवर सीज सन सेटिंग, इसको मैं चैलेंज करूंगा। तो इसकी स्वतंत्रता संग्राम अपने को देते हैं, वो सत्याग्रह के कई प्रकार के करते हैं। इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस was the umbrella movement during those days for the freedom struggle. Under the umbrella, there are many people who are having their own forum, their own organization, their own setup. But they were all under the broad wings of the Indian National Congress, which was the forerunner of the Indian freedom struggle. There were Congress associate people who are respected the Indian National Congress, but who wanted to take up a different route. Narandal was also there within the Congress. One was that guy, Lokmanya Tilak, and another was there, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Some wanted the total freedom, some wanted to negotiate. Everyone was there. But as I know, and some people who respected the leaders, but they wanted to pick up the arms, and they started Hindustan Republic Army. Ram Sarvajit, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Putkeshwar, Bhagavath Gora, and so on. Friends, here I want to mention one thing which you all be knowing, that in the entire history of the world's revolutionary activities for the emancipation of the homeland, for the emancipation of the dear motherland, there have been many revolutionary activities in different parts of the world to attain freedom, to throw away the mother. But the history of the revolutionaries of this country, the most inspiring, unparalleled, not because we all belong to India and that is why Indian revolutions are made. No. The world has recognized this. The revolutionary acts of the revolutionary acts, we all know, they take up arms, follow a path of attacking their political masters who are unjustly ruling over them. And the revolutionary act has been recognized as a patriotic act in all parts of the world. That is why the revolutionaries are respected by the succeeding generations. But the Indian revolutionaries, they are a class apart. If you read the book by Durgadas, who was a famous journalist, a renowned media person, from 1857 to Subhash Bose. In his book, he has explained, he has delineated the great characters and their deeds of the revolutionaries. You can't but bow your heads before their memory. वासुदेव बलवंत फड़के, छापेकर, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, and many. Nearly 100 years of India's revolutionary history is example to the world because every one of them was not only inspired by the freedom struggle to emancipate Mother Bharat, but also they were having the path of a spirituality. Every one of them. The Indian revolutionaries, they were spiritual within themselves. Netaji was also a spiritual personality. Bhagat Singh was an Arya Samaj. He has written great poems. And Swami Vivekananda and Sister Nivedita, they helped, they inspired, they supported many revolutionary activities. Lokmanya Balagangadhar Tilak, who was from the Karangal of the Congress, who supported, who encouraged Savarkar and others in Maharashtra and Western India to take up the revolutionary activities, who argued for them in the court, who wrote the letters to the British Empire on pressures on Netaji. He gave up, he resigned. He did not mention, he did not say one word against anybody. He said, okay, if this is the thing, I will have my own way. And he started forward block, about which Professor Rajkumari just now mentioned. So forward block was one, and later on it also became a party. So Netaji tried through political activism, if we can awaken Indian people, organize them, and see that because of this power, the British will accept to leave this country and we attain our independence. Netaji tried it honestly, and his leadership was so popular. While he was in jail, he contested for the election of the mayorship of Kolkata city, and he got elected. He was in jail. His nomination was filed, and Netaji gets elected for the Kolkata mayorship. That was his popularity. And Netaji thought that no, the British are not going to budge so simply. By 1939, the political horizon slowly changed, and as we all know, the Second World War was in offing, and the Germany, Japan and others, they were on one side, and the Allied forces, the rest of history we all know very well. So when this is there, the British were engaged in this war, because the British Empire was spread all over the world. Naturally, they were giving all the ammunitions, money, etc., everything, recruiting people. British as an important empire, and they were participants in the World War. And all their attention, all their power, all their resources, they will be engaged, they will be invested in the war. And this is the time when the enemy is weak, we should hit. That is the war strategy. And Netaji, he asked the colleagues in the Indian National Congress and others, so we should now do it. But the Congress was of a different opinion. They said no, now we shall cooperate with the British so that after the war is over, they will give freedom to us. Netaji did not accept this argument, and he went on as per his plans. Netaji, as we all know, he was trying to have his contacts, alliances outside the world, outside India, the rest of the world. He said, the enemy of the British are our friends. Enemy of the enemy is my friend. In war strategy, such things have to be employed. And he tried to contact and communicate with such forces and countries and the leaders of those nations who are on the opposite side, the Allied forces. But in the between, he was arrested when he was ill, and he was inside jail. He was to be sent to some other country, to England for the treatment, but he did not go. Then he went to Dalhousie for treatment. But when he was ill and he was in jail, the British, because of the situation, that if Netaji dies in the jail, then British will not have face. That's why the doctors, the British doctors, they all said it is better we release him. The British government released him, no doubt, but they said he cannot go out. We will send him home, but he should be under house arrest. So he was put under house arrest in Kolkata. He was there for some months. He was planning, and the police had surrounded, and you know the great escape which Professor Rajkumar just now mentioned. And on 16th, 17th January 1941, wearing a Pathan's long gown, claiming himself to Ziauddin, he put his name as Ziauddin, and he went out of the house. The police could not recognize, and he took a car, went up to Gomo in Jharkhand today, which is called Netaji station. From there he went up to Peshawar, and he went to the Western countries. There he contacted people, Mussolini, and ultimately he met Hitler also. But when he met Hitler, Adolf Hitler, because many a time when about Netaji people say he met Mussolini and requested for his help in freedom struggle of India. So Mussolini was a dictator in Italy, and Hitler was another dictator. And Nazism, fascism, which cannot be accepted, which are not acceptable political thoughts today, even at that time. So that's why Netaji's name is linked with this fascism and Nazism, etc., because he met these leaders. But Netaji was only following the strategy of the war. When you are engaged in a battle against an enemy, how you should take the help of the enemy's enemy. So for that I will quote one small incident. How Netaji was not just flattering or praising Hitler. He had the guts to say, to call a spade on the face of Hitler. When they were meeting, he mentioned about the Mein Kampf, the book, which was written or authored by Hitler. And in the Mein Kampf book, Adolf Hitler had mentioned about India in very derogatory terms. He had no praise for India. For India, he had all abuses. And here is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who had the gumption to mention this. He has gone there seeking help for his revolutionary activity against British. And you are going to ask help from a person who was a leader, Hitler. And then Netaji says, these are the things which I don't accept. submarines in order to escape from the British eyes. The surveillance was there all the time. People from the British intelligence were always shadowing Netaji. तो नेताजी वहां से निकले, पनडुब्बी से पहुंचे, जापान पहुंचे, वहां तोजो से मार किए। जापान के लोग ब्रिटिश के साथ जो युद्ध में कई सैनिकों को उन्होंने युद्ध कैदी बनाया था, युद्धबंदी बनाए थे, and those prisoners of war, most of them were Indians who were serving the British army. तो जापान के लोगों ने ठीक है, आपको अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ लड़ना है तो हमने जिनको अरेस्ट किया है, जिनको प्रिजनर्स ऑफ वॉर बनाया है, जो इंडियंस है, उनको हम आपको देंगे। दिस इज हाउ इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी INA got many prisoners of war. Indian National Army or Azad Hind Fauj was founded by Rasbihari Bose. Actually, the original idea was by one Sri Mohan Singh and another Nikhil Singh. These two gentlemen, मोहन सिंह ने सोचा कि हमको दुनिया में एक अन्य देशों से मिलकर भारत से बाहर फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल के लिए तैयारी करनी चाहिए। इसलिए मोहन सिंह के इस आइडिया को रासबिहारी बोस ने not only accepted, he said, let us try to do it, and they launched this war. Indian National Army was created, and they took these prisoners of war. It may be around 60,000 people who were trained in the British Army. तो इसलिए इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी INA was founded. जब नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी के विचार सुने, नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी ने जिस प्रकार से अपने विचार को रखा और ब्रिटिश के साथ युद्ध करने की उनकी योजना बताई, and because of his inspiring personality and inspiring words, Rasbihari Bose was ready to hand over the supreme commandership of Indian National Army to Netaji. Rasbihari Bose ने अपने आजाद हिंद फौज को नेताजी के हाथ में सौंप दिया। सिंगापुर के टाउन हॉल के सामने एक बड़े फंक्शन में नेताजी सुप्रीम कमांडर ऑफ इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी के नाते चार्ज लिया। नेताजी के इस व्यक्तित्व और उनके नेतृत्व के कारण भारत में इस मणिपुर से, हिंदुस्तान के अन्य भागों से another 16,000 to 18,000 people, they also joined. Women also came forward. इसलिए नेताजी को अपने इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में अलग अलग रेजिमेंट्स बनाए, नाम रखा उन्होंने, और विमेन, जब महिलाएं इसमें आने के लिए वीरांगना आई, उन्होंने झांसी लक्ष्मीबाई रेजिमेंट बनाए, और सिंगापुर के रेडियो से उन्होंने घोषणा की, हम अब दिल्ली के तरफ कूच करेंगे, आज तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुझे आजाद का स्वतंत्र दूंगा, गिव मी योर ब्लड, आई विल गिव यू फ्रीडम। वो जो फेमस वर्ड्स है वही उन्होंने उस भाषण में बताए, और वहां से उन्होंने गांधी जी को पब्लिकली उन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट किया, एक लेटर भी भेजा, गांधी जी, मैं देश के मुक्ति के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा साहसपूर्ण ऐसे कदम मैं उठा रहा हूं, हजारों की संख्या में नौजवान लोग अपने देश के लिए कुर्बानी करने के लिए तैयार होकर यहां आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। शीघ्र ही हम भारत की सीमा पर पहुंचकर भारत को मुक्त करने के लिए दिल्ली चलो कूच हमने प्रारंभ किया है। मैं इस वक्त, इस समय गांधी जी को लिखते हैं, आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए, आपकी शुभकामनाएं चाहिए। आप देखिए 1939 में जिस व्यक्ति के कारण कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष पद को छोड़ना पड़ा, उस महात्मा गांधी जी के बारे में मन के अंदर न नफरत है, न जहर है, न डिसरेस्पेक्ट है। वहां से उन्होंने कहा, गांधी जी आपके आशीर्वाद और शुभकामनाएं चाहिए। एक निस्वार्थी नेता कैसे होता है, जिसके दिल में स्नेह और आदर, आत्मीयता और प्रेम, त्याग और बलिदान की झलक ऐसे जब है तो वो किसी के बारे में नफरत से न सोचेगा न बोलेगा। नेताजी के व्यक्तित्व इसमें, स्पिरिचुअलिटी के बारे में मैंने बात की। Unless a person is spiritually inspired, unless a person is spiritually charged, he will not do such acts. उन्होंने अपने अपमान उसको याद नहीं रखा, उसको उन्होंने अपमान माना नहीं। जीवन में उतार चढ़ाव होते हैं, एक नेता को हमेशा उतार और चढ़ाव के सामने दिल को नहीं खोना चाहिए। You should not lose your confidence. नेताजी नेता है, नेतृत्व। नेताजी लोगों को छोड़ा उन्होंने। आर्मी में महिलाओं को लेना सामान्य बात नहीं थी। जिस कालखंड में हिंदुस्तान के बहुत सारे राज्यों में महिलाएं पर्दा में रहती थी, उस समय उनको यूनिफॉर्म पहनाकर जानी लक्ष्मीबाई रेजिमेंट शुरू करना, ये नेतृत्व का एक बहुत बड़े मिसाल है। नेताजी ने इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में हिंदुस्तान के हर कोने कोने के लोग थे। एवरी पार्ट वाज represented in Indian National Army. People were there from Tamil Nadu and Kerala. People were there from Hyderabad. People were there from Rajasthan. People were there from Northeast. People were there from Manipur. एक नहीं दो नहीं, in hundreds and hundreds. नेताजी के इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में हिंदू थे, मुसलमान थे, हर पंथ के लोग थे। नेताजी की इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में केवल तलवार में बंदूक लेकर लड़ने वालों के साथ साथ कवि थे, साहित्यकार थे। इसलिए तो एक रामचंद्र कपूर ने कदम कदम बढ़ाए जा, खुशी के गीत गाए जा, जिंदगी है कौम के तो कौम पर लुटाए। ऐसे गीत लिखने वाले, गलत मत कदम उठाओ सोच कर चलो, ऐसे गीतों की रचना करने वाले कवियों को भी इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में देखने को मिला। नेताजी भारत की सरकार के घोषणा की, उन्होंने प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इसकी घोषणा करी, तिरंगा झंडा फहराया, हम मोइरांग खान में आए। उनके आने के पहले 2 बार जापान में, आप लोग जानते हैं, मणिपुर के लोग ब्रिटिश के साथ युद्ध करते समय इस इम्फाल पर बम गिराया। उस बम में सैकड़ों लोग मरे, सिविलियंस मरे। लेकिन जापान के युद्ध भारत के खिलाफ नहीं था, अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ था। इसलिए अंग्रेजों को वार्निंग देने के लिए जापान ने ये कदम उठाया था। इसको इसको जानते हुए यहाँ के लोगों ने, यहाँ के पूर्व में जो चीफ मिनिस्टर रहे जिन्होंने इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में सर्व किया है, सुखोयरंग सिंह, मेरा प्रोनाउंसिएशन ठीक है, तो सुखोयरंग सिंह उनके लेख है, इसमें आप पढ़िए। द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ मणिपुर इन फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल, अनसंग हीरोज ऑफ मणिपुर, वहां पुस्तक है। कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ मणिपुर नॉर्थ ईस्ट इन द इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी लेड बाय नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस, इंस्पायरिंग saga for all times to come। मणिपुर के लोग वो देखते बाप से सब गांव छोड़कर, शहर छोड़कर पहाड़ में लोग चले गए, लेकिन जैसे जैसे सिंगापुर से कूद करने के लिए इस तरफ आईएनए के मूवमेंट होता गया, एक नहीं दो नहीं सैकड़ों लोग यहां से इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में ज्वाइन करने के लिए आगे गए। मालूम था उनको ये जो काम है ये दुस्साहस है। They were knowing that this is an uphill task. They were knowing that we are raising our voice against the most powerful empire on earth. They were not fools, लेकिन दीवाने थे। Knowingly they accepted this challenge. आसिफ मलिक एक मुस्लिम धर्म से जो इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी में ऑफिस है, उन्होंने इसी इम्फाल में उन्होंने भाषण दिया। सिंगापुर से यहां आने तक कई लोग हमसे चले गए, ऊपर चले गए, हम उनको खोया है। और हम जानते हैं इम्फाल से दिल्ली पहुंचने तक और भी कई सैकड़ों लोग इस युद्ध में, इस लड़ाई में वीर गति प्राप्त करेंगे। लेकिन जो लोग भारत मां के प्रति अपने श्रद्धा और आस्था को रखकर हिंदुस्तान को स्वतंत्र करने के लिए अपने संकल्प किए हैं, यदि हिम्मत है तो आगे बढ़े। मालूम था उनको आसान नहीं है। सिंगापुर में रहते थे, 3 महीने में इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी को सैकड़ों हजारों लोगों के लिए राशन नहीं था। धीरे धीरे तुम भारत के लोगों ने, भारत के महिलाओं ने, भारत के माताओं ने नेताजी की इस लड़ाई के लिए, नेताजी की सेना के लिए अपने गहने दिए। नौजवानों ने गली गली में घूमकर पैसे इकट्ठा किए। उनके लिए नेताजी सिंगापुर से रेडियो से एड्रेस किया उन्होंने। तो इस भारत के नॉर्थ ईस्ट में, पर्टिकुलरली मणिपुर में जब मोइरांग में आए, उन्होंने अंडमान और निकोबार को मुक्त करवा दिया, उसको शहीद और स्वराज नाम रखा, उन दोनों आइलैंड्स को। मोइरांग में आने के बाद यहां तिरंगा झंडा फहराए। उन्होंने जो प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इसकी घोषणा की, उसके स्वयं राष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री और सुप्रीम कमांडर आर्मी स्वयं को घोषित किए कि उनको लीडरशिप देना था। और दिस प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया established by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and INA was recognized by 11 countries. दुनिया के 11 देश उसको मान्यता दी। उन्होंने अपनी करेंसी चालू की, रेडियो चालू की, कैबिनेट एस्टैब्लिश की। उनका प्लान क्या है उन्होंने घोषित किया। नेताजी सुभाष दिल्ली नहीं पहुंच पाए। आईएनए ब्रिटिश सेना के साथ हार मानना था। सैकड़ों लोगों को अरेस्ट करके उनको भेज दिया। कई लोग मर गए। जापान सरकार ने नेताजी को सूचना दी, अब हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते। मोस्ट एडवर्स सिचुएशन है, इसलिए नेताजी बचेंगे तो और लड़ेंगे, तो इसलिए नेताजी को वहां से बाहर किया। रूस में जाने के लिए विमान से निकले। 1945 अगस्त 18 को उसका एयर क्रैश हो गया। बाद की कहानी तो हम में से कई लोग जानते ही है कि यह एरोप्लेन क्रैश हुआ। इसे 23 अगस्त को रशियन गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस किया। अब नेताजी नहीं है ऐसे कहना ही था उनको, क्योंकि बाकी सभी लोग मर गए थे। नेताजी की कोई डेड बॉडी तो मिला नहीं, इसलिए नेताजी है, नेताजी वहां उनकी मृत्यु नहीं हुई ऐसे कहने वाले हजारों लाखों लोग हिंदुस्तान में और इस दुनिया में आज भी हैं। नेताजी डिड नॉट डाई इन दैट एयर क्रैश, ही लिव्ड फॉर मेनी मेनी मोर इयर्स ऐसे कहते हैं। हो सकता है लोगों की श्रद्धा और आस्था के बारे में प्रश्न उठाना संभव नहीं है। भारत सरकार ने भी कुछ किया, बाद में बहुत सारे इंक्वायरी कमीशन हुए, लेकिन किसी के बारे में फाइनल ऐसे कहना मुश्किल है। कमीशन ने अपने अपने रिपोर्ट दिए ही है, वो सब पब्लिक डोमेन में है। भारत में चिरंजीवियों की एक मालिका है, वो हमेशा रहेंगे ऐसे हम मानते हैं। अश्वत्थामो बलिव्यास हनुमान सुविभीषण कृपा परशुरामश्च सप्तैते चिरंजीविना। अश्वत्थामा, बलि, व्यास, हनुमान जी, कृपा, परशुराम, ये सारे लोग भारत के सांस्कृतिक इतिहास में इनको मानते हैं चिरंजीवी है, वे अमर हैं, उनकी डेथ नहीं है, वो किसी न किसी रूप में रहते हैं ऐसे कहते हैं। इस मालिका में नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस इस कलयुग में इन चिरंजीवियों के मालिका में उनके नाम भी जुड़ जाएगा। जी एक अद्भुत साहस, एक पराक्रम अपने जीवन में उन्होंने कदम कदम पर अभिव्यक्त किया। पराक्रम को, साहस को उन्होंने नए अर्थ दिए। त्याग और बलिदान को उन्होंने और एक नए मंजिल पर पहुंचाए। भारत भक्ति को उन्होंने एक अद्भुत सुगंध और चमक दी थी। उनके जीवन के कर्तृत्व से, उनके मोहक व्यक्तित्व से, उनके अद्भुत नेतृत्व से। So Netaji's those words, ideas, ideals and dreams will never perish. Ideas and ideals and dreams will never perish. वो किसी न किसी रूप में जीवित रहेंगे। when those ideas, ideals and dreams are of high qualities, when those ideas, ideals and dreams are for the noble cause, when those ideas, ideals and dreams are free from any selfish aggrandizement, those ideas, ideals and dreams, they will be perpetualized in every heart and soul. मुझे लगता है नेताजी जैसे एक अद्भुत महापुरुष इस युग में भारत में जन्मे, भारत को जोड़ा, दुनिया में घूमे, दुनिया के लोगों को जोड़ा, साहस और भक्ति को, कर्मण्यता और विचार, स्नेह, प्रेम और कर्तृत्व को एक दूसरे के साथ जोड़ने का एक अद्भुत कार्य नेताजी ने किया। ऐसे नेताजी के स्मृति में हम सभी पुनः एक बार अपने श्रद्धांजलि समर्पित करें और इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं आज के इस कार्यक्रम में जीपी वुमेन्स कॉलेज, यूनिवर्सिटी और इफने के सभी हमारे मित्रों ने नेताजी जैसे चिरंजीवी पुरुष के स्मरण करने के लिए एक अवसर दिया, इसलिए मैं धन्य हूं और उनके प्रति मैं कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं। जय हिंद।
Mananiya Shri Deputy Ahmad Pale, there was in-depth motivation.
Very good evening. Respected Mananiya Shri Deputy Ahmad Sarkariya Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and to place of this public lecture to observe Parakram Divas and to celebrate the 126th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Honorable MLAs, Chairpersons, OSD, Commission Chairpersons, Vice Chancellors and Directors, OSD, ex-MLAs, other chairpersons, eminent persons, registrars, commanders, principals, scholars, distinguished homage to our great freedom fighter Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Sir Osavaleji, you had given so nice and excellent presentations, and you have hypnotized all of us and spiritual words. Thank you very much. I, on behalf of Dhanamandri University and Northeast Intellectual Forum of Northeast Manipur, would like to congratulate you and thank you very much. Yes, our country has so many unsung heroes, freedom fighters and revolutionaries. We have so many torchbearers of Indian great nations, and among them, you have mentioned the great Guruji, Swami Vivekananda, the great inspirer, I should say, to the youngsters. Swami Vivekananda, with his full inner wisdom and Eastern philosophy, also created a history in Western during World Religious Forum. It was also full confidence on them. Our former President APJ Abdul Kalam rightly said that ignited young minds are the most important resource on art, above the art and under the art. As country like United States cannot help us, unquote. So spirit is very, very important. And Sir is rightly saying that inspiration is far, far better than facts and knowledge. So to our youth, we have to give inspirations. With the coming of this BJP-led government, I should appreciate that so many programs are initiated to inspire our youngsters. We have to remind our heroes and that those bearers, and Netaji wasn't one of them. So to supplement a little bit
I will summarize, I will give a little bit or sharing some of ideas of Netaji Subhas Bose within 10 minutes. Netaji Subhas Bose was born on 23rd January 1897 in Cuttack. He is the 9th child of a family of 14 to Janadinath and Parvati Bose. One of the important things is that during the time of his birth, it was the time of intense change when all over the land, especially in Bengal, nationalism was in the air. It was synchronized. Coming of this patriotism concept was very much during the time when Netaji Subhas was born. By the time when Subhas graduated from Calcutta University in 1919 and set out to study philosophy in Cambridge and qualified for Indian civil service, and he stood fourth position. That was in 1920. He already had a well-defined personality, and his idea of what he wanted to do in life was no longer in doubt. In July 1921, Subhas resigned from civil service and returned home to join politics. For the next few years, he served a hard political apprenticeship under the political mentor Chittaranjan Das, the then principal in the Congress National College. He had to write for the new nationalist paper, Swaraj. Subhas threw himself at the feet of Gandhiji in July 1921. He attended Gandhiji's secret conference in September 1921 for non-cooperation movement program, which began on December 1, 1921 in Bengal. Later on, Bose found himself a bit impatient with Gandhiji's methods. Bose and Chittaranjan Das were arrested on Christmas Day in 1921 for organizing a boycott against Prince of Wales' visit to India and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. In 1924, Subhas was appointed Chief Executive Officer of Calcutta Corporation. At the same time, Chittaranjan Das was elected Mayor of Calcutta. Bose was again detailed in Mandalay under the New Bengal Ordinance on 24 October 1924. He is being suspected terrorist leader of Swaraj violence in Bengal. And of course, he was released on grounds of ill health in 1926. So the 2 years in Mandalay were to be among the most important Subhas' life in his future. After releasing from prison in 1927, Subhas had clear political ideas of his own. After Chittaranjan Das died, Subhas found himself beginning to be regarded as the national leader of Bengal. The year 1928 is very, very important. He gave Subhas new opportunities for distinction in Congress affairs. Along with Jawaharlal Nehru, Bose emerged as one of the rising youngsters of the Congress. They proposed several ideas to rebuild India. He joined Nehru to help from Indian independence day. Netaji's contribution for the cause of the country is very, very great, and he has traveled many countries in the whole globe, and including this Australia, Bulgaria, Egypt, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Poland, Romania, Switzerland, Turkey, and many others. And he wrote the Indian struggle when Australia he met Emily, and it is believed that he made this in next visit in 1937. Because of the shortage of time, I would like to conclude that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in 1945 on 12th August, just 1 minute, sir. On an offensive against the British in India and crossing the Burmese border, and he planted the Indian national tricolor flag at Moirang, Manipur, and created a history in this part of the region. It was a symbol of claiming Indian soil from the British. However, the offensive failed to take Kohima and Imphal and was forced to retreat to Burma. The campaign was a tragic failure and Bose left for Singapore via Bangkok on 24 April. Masih matung tabi warisi yang saya ozam sepanbigre yang masih pen kelas sikira sikira begini report apa yang ada panggil anu kerana nama dis IPR kau kebani masih berarti hari ini yang apa dia lagi mana di history yang semisal yang mau ikut kami ay sama ki history yang ada yang bukan yang ada panggil tinggal segi function juga mari ni kan kadang ay punca bukan yang jauh kami pun share kau. And with this background, I would like to thank all the participants in this hall and making this talk a grand success. Thank you very much.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dear University, as to proceed the program, we will be having a cultural program. So I request the dignitaries to kindly capture along with the audience for the cultural program. May I request Dr. Kadambi Tombi and Kutumbam Jens to kindly escort the dignitaries to their respective seats. Parties of JN Manipur Dance Academy. With the advent of Vaishnavism during the 18th century, a new wave of devotional cults spread in Manipur, with its found supreme expression in various forms of dance and music. Quintessence of Indian philosophy, the agonies of the human soul to attain union with the Supreme Soul. Of the 5 Leelas performed in Manipur, we present this evening the Vasanti Ras of the spring season, which is played on the playground. The Ogokis, led by Radha